Check test. All right, welcome everybody. First live stream. So to begin, we're making a garlic parmesan risotto. We'll include meal prep in this live stream here. So yeah, the first step will be mincing our onion here. I like to mince it as fine as possible to make sure that we don't get an onion overload. We're not just eating onion chunks, because after all, the goal isn't onion chunks with some rice. It is a creamy garlic and parmesan risotto. So yeah, I like onion. So I'm going to use more onion than the recipe calls for. You can get away with, you can get away with just one of these onions, one of these small halves, or many as you want, but the goal is to mince it as small or as finely as possible so that you don't get, like I mentioned earlier, an onion overload. So I'm going to try to do as much as I can on camera with you guys. I did a little bit of preparing ahead of time. Well, a little bit of preparing. By a little bit, I mean, I'll show you. I have my little kitty full of rice. But as far as anything else, everything's going to be done here. So hopefully, people, you will watch. Okay, so now we got our onions peeled. I'm going to go ahead and start mincing them, okay? Again, I want to get them as fine as possible. Get that out of the way. Again, yeah, one large onion or two medium-sized onions, or just enough to give us a flavor or give us the taste that we desire. It doesn't look like a lot of onions now, but once they're all minced and diced like this, the volume I noticed increases a lot too. Let's just do the best we can. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not going for perfection here. We're going for taste. Move all the diced onion off to one side of the cutting board so that we're not cluttering it, so we can work without getting impeded. Oh, so a little nasty bit I didn't notice earlier. We're just gonna cut that off. Right. Dispose of that later. Cutting board's running away from me. These last bits are always the hardest for me. I heard that you're not supposed to do it the way I'm doing it now. That the easiest way was to leave the root head attached. And just use that and just cut up like a lattice structure with everything attached at the base. But guess you can't teach an old dog new tricks, huh? I'm gonna get the stragglers. We don't want too large of pieces. Imagine that's good enough. And we'll get that last half involved. We got a jumper. I'm not a big fan of cutting up this many onions. I feel myself tearing up right now. We'll tilt it over the last bit so that it's not too top heavy and get a nice even cut. Alright, we have our onion all diced up. So, next step, we need our garlic. Now, here, let me show you my predicament with this garlic. We didn't have a great year with our garlic this year, so it ended up, it ended up turning out much smaller than expected. Not nearly as big as anything you see in the stores. So you're going to want to use maybe 4 or 5 cloves or teeth or whatever it's called. They're about this much. Again, it's up to personal preference and personal taste. If you like your garlic more, you can add more. If you're not a big fan of garlic, add less. So this, we're going to want to use minced. I'll be using a garlic press just because I can't be bothered. So we'll leave that on the side. In the meantime, we're going to set 4 cups of water to boil. Let me shift the camera over. have our camera set up on that end. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab ourselves, pardon me. Ah, fuck. We're gonna grab ourselves a pot like this. The goal is to have it have four cups of water to boil, and a larger pan like that. Here, I'll move the camera. There we go. There we go. Let me shift everything over. All right, so we have that set up. And let's grab our measuring cup for water. The goal is to have 4 cups of chicken broth, as measured here, but I like to put a little more of the broth in, just so, because it'll be simmering for a while and a good deal of it's going to evaporate, so. So just for consistency's sake and ease of use, I like to put in 5 cups of water. Alright, we have our 5 cups of water. I'm going to set it to a quick boil and prepare the chicken bouillon. Again, we do have 5 cups of water in there, but we're still just aiming for 4. One, 2, 3, and 4. Put that away. Okay, once the water gets to a boil, we will be ready for our next step. So, I'm just gonna peel these chicken bouillons so that we have them ready for later. And I won't have to deal with it later. These are always so difficult to peel.